On November 30th, 2021, a woman in Dallas posted footage of a man standing outside her apartment door late at night. This incident, captured by her Ring doorbell camera, raised significant concerns as the man had been stalking her and standing outside her door almost every night. She stated that she contacted the police about this problem she'd been dealing with since October 31st. But according to her, not much was done by the authorities to keep this man away. Here is what she recorded. In the videos that are shown, the man just stands there, occasionally talking to himself. At one point, you can see a beer in his hand before he walks away. Minutes later, he returns to the door, stumbling, seemingly drunk. He then grabs the door handle in an attempt to enter the woman's apartment. On December 2nd, she posted an update stating that she is now safe and that security guards of the apartment are regularly patrolling the halls, making sure she's okay. This next video captures the shocking incident involving a middle-aged Asian couple targeted in what appears to be a follow-home-style robbery by a masked man wielding a gun. This alarming event took place in southern Seattle, Washington. The footage was initially shared on Reddit by a user named Wilmock. The woman noticed the intruder just in time and swiftly locked the door, preventing him from entering the home. Shortly afterward, the man noticed the Ring camera and began to destroy it, making matters even more frightening just before the camera cut off. It revealed that the intruder was not acting alone. Shortly after the video was posted, it quickly garnered attention with numerous Reddit users. They pointed out a disturbing pattern of similar robberies occurring in the area. These concerns were later substantiated by local news outlets in Seattle. This video shows one of the crimes that were part of a frightening spree last year across South Seattle. Tonight, two men accused of taking part in these robberies now face hate crime charges. Kane County prosecutors charged Havis Tubbs and DeMarcus Pate, stating that the two targeted Asian households, and in some cases, forced their way in while identifying themselves as Seattle police. On May 8, 2022, in Houston, Texas, a man identified as 29-year-old Joshua Deloach enters a house and confronts his roommate, Justin Iwoji, with a weapon. Immediately after this incident, Deloach stole $6,000 in jewelry from his roommate and then proceeded to tie him up and force him into the trunk of his own car. Luckily, Justin managed to escape with the help of a bystander. Deloach was arrested about 2 weeks later, on May 20th of that year. Late one night in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, a woman named Savannah captured something absolutely terrifying on her Ring camera. At around 10:20 p.m., a man appeared at her front door. He began violently slamming his body against the woman's door, trying to force his way inside. After several attempts, the man stumbled back and fell over the porch railing. Terrified, the woman called the police. The Myrtle Beach Police Department reported that the officers took the man to the hospital for treatment, and he was later arrested. It was quite obvious that the man was under the influence of drugs, or was possibly having some sort of manic episode. Either way, it was terrifying to experience. In January 2019, in Salinas, California, a man identified as Roberto Daniel Arroyo was recorded by a Ring doorbell camera as he spent several hours in the early morning licking the doorbell of a family's home. The homeowners, who were not at home at the time, were alerted to the unusual activity through the Ring system's motion detection feature. The Salinas Police Department used the video evidence to identify Arroyo, who has been cited by the department in the past. Arroyo faced misdemeanor charges related to prowling and theft, but the primary concern for many was the clear need for mental health intervention, given the nature of his actions. This is truly disturbing. In another unsettling incident, a 22-year-old model from Florida installed a Ring camera on her front door and shortly after caught footage of a stalker creeping around her house. The man appeared minutes after she arrived home, indicating he was likely following her. Despite repeated reports to the police, no action was taken, and the stalker returned a week later. Feeling unsafe, The woman has since moved away from the area. In a horrifying break-in, a man later identified as Jonathan Gonzalez entered a family's home while a mother and her baby were asleep. The home security camera recorded him quietly moving around the bedroom before approaching the sleeping woman and behaving inappropriately. Police identified Gonzalez, who was a former friend of the family, as a suspect early on but lacked solid evidence until they conducted a search of his home. They found clothing matching what was seen in the footage and digital evidence placing him at the scene. This case was so disturbing it garnered widespread media coverage. In yet another disturbing incident, footage captured by a doorbell camera shows a strange man sneaking up to the ground floor window of a 24-year-old woman's duplex in Hudson, Wisconsin. The footage shows the man getting extremely close to the window as he peers through the woman's blinds. This occurred on at least 3 separate nights before his arrest. The woman only noticed something suspicious was happening because of the footprints the man left in the snow that led to her window. The man in the video was later identified as Robert Cecina, the executive president of the 3M company at the time. An executive at 3M is accused of stalking a woman and peeping in her home's windows. This case started when the victims opened their blinds and saw footprints in the snow by the ground-level windows. Then they put up a video camera that caught the man returning. Hudson police responded when a neighbor saw a man outside the home who looked just like the person in the video, which was captured and circulated among neighbors the night before. Police say they traced the vehicle leaving the scene to Cecina, and in the criminal complaint, write that Robert looked exactly like the person in their surveillance camera footage, especially his hairline. Cecina denied it was him, but police say his story conflicts with his wife's story about what they did that night. According to police, several neighborhood witnesses helped them identify Cecina and his vehicle. Prosecutors charged Cecina with felony stalking. 4 women, including a teenage girl, were living inside. But rather than take the case to trial, the St. Croix County District Attorney offered a plea deal that will likely leave Cecina with a clean criminal record. The stalking charges were dropped, and instead, less serious misdemeanor trespassing and disorderly conduct charges were added. Cecina pleaded no contest, meaning he admits there's enough evidence to convict him. But a conviction won't go on his record unless he reoffends in the next 3 years. This mother and her 16-year-old daughter live in that home and say, despite this not being a serious crime in the eyes of the law, it has had a very serious impact on them. They are now a lot more jumpy, always looking under their car, around their car, and at the corners of their house before going in. They carry mace. They're also upset that the court process didn't reveal Cecina's motivation. Cecina is technically not on probation. He's going to be monitored by the St. Croix County District Attorney's Office. And again, they will dismiss the charges if he goes 3 years without reoffending.